the Vatican, Pope Urban VIII, formerly Cardinal Barberini, has received the Cardinal Inquisitor. During the audience, the Pope is being dressed. From outside, the shuffling of many feet is heard.
Your Holiness really means to tell the doctors of all the faculties, religious preachers who have gathered there guided by the sweet song. You mean to tell them that preaching the scripture as Almighty can no longer be considered?
No, no, no! I won't allow the multiplication tables to be broken, no!
Yes, these people say it is only a matter of multiplication tables, not of the spirit of rebellion and doubt. The figures force our hands. Where do these figures come from? Everyone knows they come from doubt. You are my master, but I doubt whether this is a good arrangement. This is your house and your wife, but I doubt whether this should not be mine. Why this sudden interest in a science as recognized as astronomy, I ask? Ever since man began sailing the high seas, he puts his trust in a brass sphere he calls the compass rather than in God. The evil man knows what he's doing when he writes his astronomical works not in Latin but in the fishwives of Woolworth's Idiom.
It's certainly in bad taste. I'll tell him.
Some he incites, others he bribes. The North Italian ship owners keep clamoring for Mr. Galileo's charges. We shall have to yield them since material interests are involved.
But these charts are based on heretical statements, on the movements of heavenly bodies, based on his doctrine. We can't reject the doctrine and accept the charts.
Why not? It's the only solution.
After all, the man is the greatest waste of our time, and a beacon for Italy, not some good-for-nothing crack. He has friends. There's Versailles. There's the court in Vienna. They will call the church a cesspool of rotten prejudices. Hands up!
Actually, we wouldn't have to go very far in his case. Mr. Galileo is a man of the flesh. You would get him very quickly.
Yes, he gets pleasure of more things than any man I ever met. Even his thinking is sensual. I should not allow for condemnation of any facts. For any matter tried of church against reason. Even in his book he complies. And the final word rests with faith and not science.
But how did he comply? His book is an argument between a simpleton who naturally propounds Aristotle's opinion and an intelligent man, just as naturally voicing Mr. Galileo's opinion. And the final statement, Your Holiness, is made by whom?
What was that? Who states our opinion?
Not the intelligent one!
That is impudence. The shuffling of the horse is insufferable. Is the whole world coming here?
Not the whole world, but the best part of it.
At their very most, the instruments may be shown to him.
That would suffice, Your Holiness. Mr. Galileo is well versed in instruments.
June 22nd, 1633, Galileo Galilei adjures his doctrine of the earth to be around the sun before the Inquisition. June 22nd, 1633, a momentous day for you and me. Of all the days that was the one, an age of reason could have become. Palace of the Florentine ambassador in Rome. Galileo's pupils are waiting for the news. The little monk and Franzonia playing new chess at a sleeping woman, and Virginia kneels in a corner, saying an Ave Maria.
Pope refused to see him. No more scientific debates.
The Pope was his last hope. I guess Cardinal Barberini was right when he said to him years ago, "We want you." And now they've got him.
They will kill him. That his course will never be finished.
You think so?
Because he will never recant.
He knew week at night. He drew on the most useless ideas. Last night I couldn't rid myself of the thought that he should never have left the Republic of Venice.
He couldn't write his book there.
And he could not get it published.
I also kept wondering whether they'd let him keep the stone he always carries in his pocket. His touchstone.
Where they've taken him, people don't wear pockets.
They won't dare. And even if they do, he will never recant.
I don't think so either.
Not to know the truth is stupid. To know the truth and call it a lie is criminal.
I don't think so.
Power isn't everything.
Maybe not.
22 days ago they arrested him. Yesterday was the big interrogation. Today the judges are researching. When I first came to visit him, he showed me the preface by the oratory and compared his work with a poem by Horace, given in which it is impossible to change anything. He even told me his motto. It was referring to the truth.
Did you tell him what he did in the Collegium Romanum while they were examining his tube? He acted the way as always. He put his hands on his hands. He stuck out his belly and says, "Gentlemen, I beg for this." She is praying for him to recant.
Let her pray. She's all mixed up since they talked to him. They brought the confessor down from Florence.
Mr. Galileo will be here soon. He may want a bed.
Has he been released?
Mr. Galileo is expected to recount at 5 o'clock before the plenary session of the Inquisition. The big bell at St. Mark's Church will be rung and the verdict of his accusation will be publicly proclaimed.
I don't believe it.
Yes, that is true. And because of the crowds on the streets, Mr. Galileo will be brought to the postern on this side of the parish.
The moon is an earth and has no lights of its own, and Venus has no lights of its own either. And for moons of the planet Jupiter are as far away as the fixed stars and is fastened to a sphere. The sun is the center of universe and immovable in its place, and earth is not the center and not immovable. He was the man who proved it.
Force can make what has been seen unseen.
It's 5 o'clock.
I can't stand it. They are beheading the truth.
It's just 3 minutes past 5.
He is resisting.
He hasn't recanted.
No, oh my friends.
You see, they can't do it with force. Force isn't everything. Hence, man is not afraid of death.
Now the age of knowledge will begin in earnest. Just think if he had recanted.
I was very afraid. I was faint of heart.
I knew it.
It was almost as if morning had turned back to night.
As if the mountain said, I am water.
Lord, I thank thee.
Now, man is lifting his head. tormented man and saying, I can live. All this is accomplished because one man gets up and says no.
The bell of St. Mark's, he hasn't been condemned.
I, Galileo, Professor of Mathematics and Physics in Florence, hereby adjure what hath taught to wit that the sun is in the center of the world and motionless in its place, and that the earth is not the center and not motionless. Out of sincere heart and unfeigned faith, I adjure, condemn, and execrate all these errors and heresies as I do all other errors and all other opinions in opposition to the Holy Church.
Unhappy the land that has no being. I can't look at him. I wish he would go away.
Come here, sir.
Wine barrel, snail eater, have you set your precious game? I feel sick.
Get him a glass of water.
I can walk now if you let me.
No, unhappy the land that needs a hero.
Is it not obvious that a horse falling from a height of 3 or 4 ales will break its legs, whereas a dog would not suffer any damage? Nor would a cat from a height of 8 or 9 ales, or a cricket from a tower, or an ant even if it were to fall from the moon. And just as smaller animals are comparatively stronger than larger ones, so a small plant too stand up better. An oak tree 200 ales high cannot sustain its branches in the same proportion as a small oak tree. Nor can nature let a horse grow as large as 20 horses or produce a giant 10 times the size of man unless it changes all the proportion of the limbs and especially of the bones, which would have to be strengthened far beyond the size demanded by the mere proportion. The common assumption that large and small machines are equally durable is apparently erroneous. Galileo discourse.